how do you lay like a strong foundation down before becoming a nurse practitioner? What's up, YouTube? It's your favorite NPHP and HP, and I'm back with another video. This video was requested, and basically the question was, how do you lay like a strong foundation down before becoming a nurse practitioner? And I'm like, oh, that's a good question. Good question. So first thing first, these are my personal opinions, and through my experience, I feel you should practice and work obviously as a nurse before becoming a nurse practitioner. It will help you in school, it will help you when you practice, just with the experience. I know a lot of people are starting or going through like the grad entry program, which basically you can get accepted and become a nurse practitioner by having just a bachelor's or another degree in some other sort of educational background. If you're going to an amazing school, amazing NP school, you may be taught the information that you need, but if you are able to practice as a nurse, I feel that you should practice as a nurse. So next thing, don't limit yourself. When you become a nurse, I feel that you should not specialize right away. Unless you ultimately know what you want to do in your future. But if you don't know what you want to do, I think you should at least start on a medical surgical unit, medical surgical tele unit. You see everything on a med surg. Yes, typically med surg are heavy floors, high acuity patients, but you're seeing a lot and you're learning a lot. So being on a med surg floor would definitely help you just with the experience and just learning and seeing a lot. So one of my close friends that I used to work with, her daughter went back to school. So her daughter was a pediatric nurse. She went back to school to become a family nurse practitioner. And she was accepted, and like I said, she only worked peds. She was a new grad and went straight to pediatric. So unless she knows that when she gets her FNP, she's going to still work as a pediatric nurse practitioner, even though she got her FNP, it's like she has no adult background. She only worked with peds. She's getting her FNP, and you have no adult background. It's harder. It's going to be harder for you, especially when you're going through school, because you don't have, and you're learning all this stuff about adult, but you never practiced with adult patients before. So just not specializing right away, like I said, unless you know. Another example, you graduate and you become a ICU nurse, and you go back for your acute care nurse practitioner, and you know for sure you're going to be an acute care nurse practitioner in the ICU. So unless you know for sure what you want to do in your path, okay, it's okay to specialize and go that route. But if you're unsure, I think med surg is the ultimate way to go. So another thing that would help as a nurse is take advantage of bedside rounding with the doctors. I know a lot of hospitals are really pushing mandatory bedside rounding, which I think is very important. And if you are thinking about becoming a nurse practitioner, it would help you. It will help you a lot, because you get to hear day's plan, what labs were abnormal, what they're looking for, what the patient was ultimately diagnosed with. You get to really hear how the doctors, their train of thought. So taking advantage of rounding with the doctors, obviously you'll be able to hear more, you'll be able to learn more, and put two and two together. At the same time, with any downtime that you have, once you're done passing your medications, getting all your treatments done and whatnot, take the time to read the doctor's progress notes. So that's another way you could see their train of thought and see what's going on. If you do not understand anything, if you don't understand something, ask and you'll learn. Don't know a certain medication, you look it up. If you don't understand why a patient's going in for having a certain imaging done, certain tests or lab being done, ask. The doctors will answer. They will let you know. Just ask. I'm just curious. Why are we drawing this lab for this patient? And it'll let you know. It just helps you start thinking as a provider. For example, we have an elderly patient coming in with a fall. They have a hip fracture. So as a nurse, we might think their focus is what? Their hip fracture, going to get surgery. Now as a provider, we got to think of the whole big picture now. Why did they fall? Is there some type of syncope? Do they have a history of AFib? They do have a history of AFib, and they're on some type of blood thinner. They're not sure if they hit their head. So the doctor ordered a CT of the head, and we're like, wait, they're coming in with a fall. Why are they ordering a CT of the head? So that's what I'm saying. You could ask and they'll quickly explain. Well, I know I'll quickly explain, and I have been doing when nurses question me about like, why are we starting a heparin drip? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? and I would explain just to get your thought process going. Start thinking about a provider. Start thinking deeply and more into the picture than what the picture presents. Another thing that will help set a good foundation is, as a nurse, I know I hated to float. I hated to float to other units. Floating helps you, and you learn if you're floating to a liver unit, if you're floating to a cardiac unit, whatever unit that you're floating to, it's giving you more experience, you're learning more, and you're seeing more. So the best thing about setting a strong foundation in what you do is taking advantage of any learning opportunities that you have. So like I said, rounding with the doctors, not being afraid to float. If somebody doesn't want to float, volunteer to float. Asking the doctors questions, reading their progress notes. So basically, you have to be proactive and start learning on your own while you're practicing as a floor nurse. When you're in school, it's gonna come so easy. Those are the main ways I will say that will help you, set a strong foundation. Set up a strong foundation when you're thinking about entering or starting NP school, because those are exactly what I did. I worked on a med-surg unit that actually specialized in geriatrics. I worked there for 5 years. I was on nights. Yes, I didn't like floating, but I floated. I didn't really round with the patients, but on nights I did read the progress notes. I would even jot down notes. I would write it down and see the connections of this is what they do with this is what they do with that. And like I said, it's all about learning. It's all about wanting to learn, and you having to have that drive to learn on your own to, again, set a strong foundation of becoming an NP. I hope you like this video. Like it, subscribe, share it. Again, if you have any video topics you would like me to cover, I'll surely be happy to cover it. And for the wonderful person who recommended this one, let me know if this is what you wanted, and then keep the topics coming in. Until next time.